Hello, women of purpose. It is Brianna Wilkerson here from Made Well, which is a coaching practice just really designed to help empower others to be healthy and thrive in all areas of their lives. And so I am a coach. I am a health coach. I started off Made Well as being a health coaching practice, a holistic health coaching practice, right? So not just caring about nutrition or fitness, but really all aspects of people's life. And so then what started to happen is that in some sessions, we would move from nutrition to their business, to their career, to family and relationships, to even figuring out what is their purpose. And so I ventured into a couple different aspects of coaching, such as business and purpose coaching. Purpose is kind of like life coaching, but specifically, what is your purpose, right? And so this series is called the Catalyze Your Purpose series. It's really just going to be really looking at 7 different areas, and it's a 7-part series designed to really help you discover, pursue, and thrive in your purpose, okay? And so this is just the introduction video, and I'm really going to kind of define a few things such as purpose, what are the 3 stages about, talk a little bit about my purpose journey, as well as just ask you some questions to kind of get you started on thinking about this thing called purpose. And so we're just going to get started. So purpose, really, what the definition of that is, it just really means the reason something exists, reason that it's around, reason that it was brought into being, right? And so I've recently read this book called from Dr. Miles Monroe called Maximizing Your Potential. He was a Christian pastor from the Bahamas. He passed away, sadly, kind of tragically as well. And I was just reading the introduction of this book during a time where I also was kind of figuring out my purpose and the purpose of one kind of particular area that I was being called to. And he says this something in the book, that he says that everything that is created was created with a purpose. You think about a manufacturer doesn't create a product just to create a product. It's not just like to say, hey, here's a chair just to have a chair, or here's a desk just to have a desk, or here's anything, just anything to have it. There's always a purpose to it, right? And it's the same way with us human beings, right? He's a Christian pastor, and I'm a Christian as well, that we believe that God created everyone and everything with a purpose. And the book of Colossians talks about everything was created for him, by him, through him, right? And but Dr. Miles Monroe says this quote. He says that God created you. Let me read it exactly. You were created because there is something God wants done that demands your existence on this planet, right? I remember reading that and just thinking, I have no question now why I was created and what I was created to do. Because I was at this stage of my life where I was pursuing, and I was pursuing the purpose. And ultimately, I believe that my purpose, and I believe everyone actually's purpose, is to love God and love others. And how that plays out in different ways, right? And so when you start to really think about that quote, you really start to really, it assures you that there is something you were created for, right? There's something that you, as a woman, were created for, right? And as an individual, okay? And so there are 3 stages, I believe, to this purpose journey. Now, specifically, there's many other lingos and words that I believe as well, but just in a general sense, I believe there's the discovery stage, right? The first stage, and this stage is a stage that you will constantly be in. You'll constantly be discovering. These stages aren't like you've graduated and you never come back to the other. I believe it's kind of like a cycle. And the discovery stage is really just where you're learning who you are, what you enjoy, your passions, and looking at your experiences and how that indicates things, looking at your strengths, looking at your weaknesses, looking at the opportunities you have around you and the threats as well, because we need to guard our purpose and guard our potential. And this one that can take a long while to go through until you kind of get to a clear point, and that's okay, right? And I'll kind of share a little bit later about my journey. It took me a while to get there as well, right? And so that is the kind of the beginning stage. And as a Christian, I believe that ultimately you got to learn who the one created you is to understand your purpose. That's right. So learning about your creator. Now the pursuit stage is kind of like you kind of understand who created you, kind of understand a little bit about what you're supposed to do, and you're going after it, right? You're just trying. You're like, I'm going to try this, and I'm going to actively pursue this in some way, whether largely or small. And, and I don't mean to just say that you have to start something new to pursue your purpose. I believe that even if you're at a current employer, or you're doing a current volunteer thing, or you're just an awesome stay-at-home mom, I believe that that is a part of your purpose and you need to pursue it. So this isn't just for entrepreneurs. This is for anyone and their journey and in their purpose, right? And it's really learning how to grow and develop. That's what even the pursuit stage is about, growing and develop in that given purpose. Now the thriving stage is where you've been pursuing it and you're actually starting to get a hang of it, right? You're starting to be like, this works. I love this. I'm really joyful about this. And you just see that it's really going well. But there's still room for growth, right? So how can you continue to build upon the strengths in that stage and really kind of maximize the full potential of your purpose and who you are? And so kind of a little bit share about me now and my journey with my purpose. And so I graduated high school as valedictorian, very small class. So it's not like, hey, I beat a lot of people. It's just, anyways, that's not what it's about. But I'm going to be honest and share with you that I remember getting my awards and being really proud of my accomplishment, but also not feeling a whole lot of joy because I was trying to wrap myself around in finding my identity in my accomplishments. And I still do at times. I still do. And with that, really seeing that there had to be a deeper purpose for me than just the things I did. And I was a Christian, and I went to a Christian school, but it didn't quite click with me yet until going to college, getting involved with a group called Varsity Christian Fellowship, where I got to really explore my faith more and what that meant, who Jesus was, what the Bible was about, and really coming to this one conference, Sunburst, October 2009, and it was about God's love. And I just remember breaking down, and I finally understood that God loved me and wanted to be in relationship with me and created me created me ultimately for him, right? And from that, I started to grow more. And there were definitely difficulties along the way and things I did that I'm like, man, I wish I didn't do that. But I started to also then mentor and do some spiritual coaching, I guess, for women and other fellow students on campus. Because this is how I'm going to tell you how I go about leading things. I really lead things through my experience as well. Understanding like this was pivotal for me as a woman, finding my worth in something that was unchangeable, the one who created me, not in boys, not in how I looked or anything like that. And so from there, I knew I needed to help other women in the same way. I started a Women of Worth Bible study. I coached other women, and I really enjoyed it. And I just came alive when I saw them coming alive. And then I moved back to Cayman. I moved back for different reasons, and I came back to work with the accounting firm. And I was just so sure, like, hey, I'm supposed to do spiritual coaching, and I still think so, but God had a different plan, because I actually then started to go on a journey of health and really starting to find wholeness and freedom in health, because I've struggled with different eating issues. I've struggled with body image, and I've struggled with worth being in how I looked. And God just started to do healing work, a holistic work. It came to a point where I understood if I needed to do this for a reason bigger than myself, an eternal reason, and to really love myself, and that's when things started to click. And then I was kind of like, I think there are other people who are also going through this. How can I help them? And so I did some research, prayed, waited, and became a health coach. And so I've been doing that for over a year, and I love it. But within the last 3 or 4 months, I started to just meet other health coaches that were like, how did you start your business? And I just realized I wanted them to experience the fullness of the joy that I experienced in coaching, and I just wanted them to thrive. I wanted them to thrive in their lives, right? And that's part of Madewell's logo, is to see others thriving in all areas of their lives. And so then I started business coaching, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. Leading out of experience, right? I'm not going to say I'm like know it all, but I have experienced things, and I am experiencing things and learning. And then recently, I got nominated for the Young Caymanian Leadership Award, and it was right around the time that I really felt really called to help people in their purpose, because I just had a lot of friends and a lot of people I was meeting that was like, I want to do this. I want to start this ministry. I want to start this business. I'm passionate about it. And as someone who started their own thing, I was like, yeah, you need to do it. Because let me tell you, it's hot, it's tough, but it's so worth it. And so I was like, how do I do this? How do I navigate that? And so then I got nominated for this award, became a finalist. And during that time was when I read that Maximizing Your Potential book, and really seeing that ultimately, whatever came out of it, I realized that I was called to help people understand their purpose as well. And so I became the recipient, which is such an honor. And that's what I've been trying to do with it, really help people start to think about who they are, what does success look like to them, what do they want to do with their lives, and really what is their purpose. And then Women of Purpose came about because at the end of the day, I love women and I love coaching women, right? And so started the group and just started a community and started purpose coaching. And then that's where we're at now. And so that's kind of my journey, just really finding joy in doing the things, helping others through the areas that I've been through, right? And so there are 5 key things that I just want to share that I learned on this path. And then I'm going to ask you 3 questions to you start to reflect with in this introduction video to prepare you for the weeks ahead, for the series ahead. And so the 5 key things I learned is that, 1, you have to look to the creator of you. You have to look to find your purpose. You need to think about why you were created and who created you. As a Christian, I believe God did, and I believe He sent His Son, Jesus, to really reconcile us to Him. And so for me to learn my purpose every day, I have to constantly go to God, because He's all-knowing, He's all-powerful, and He directs my path. All right? And the second thing is, where are these lovely little notes I wrote? That your purpose journey is hard. It's not like, all right, I know what I want to do and it's going to be great and God's going to bless it, but there are going to be trials and there are going to be some suffering, and you just need to know that, and know that you're going to have to run to your community and your support in those moments, and to really trust in that you're called to this, right? To remember your why. But there's joy. The third thing is that there's joy in your journey. I find so much joy when I talk to women and they get this much closer to having a breakthrough in their health, in their business, and in their purpose, right? And the 4th thing is run to God, if that is something you do, and your community for support, right? It's going to be times that I was just like, this is too hard. I can't do this. This is never going to work. And I just went to some friends. I was like, you need to pray for me. You need to encourage me, or you need to just tell me to stick through with it, right? And then the 5th thing is just that it's a journey. It's a journey. Like, you're not going to know it all. You're not going to do well at it all the time. But you just got to be committed to the journey. And it's a lifelong journey, right? So I just want to ask you 3 questions. Where are you at in your purpose journey? Are you in the discovering stage, the pursuit stage, and thriving stage? Really think about that. Journal. Do whatever you need to do to reflect on that. And the second thing is, where do you want to be? This is where you are, but where do you want to be in a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years? And just let it out. Do not think about impossibilities. Just write it out. Where do you want to be? Third thing is, how do you get there? How do you get from where you are now to where you want to be? What support do you need? What coaching do you need? What resources do you need? What experiences do you need to have? Do you need to go on a trip? Do you need to do something? Really think about that and map that out. And in those things, thinking about where you're at, where you want to be, and how you want to get there, be candid, be honest, dream, write it all out. And I would love for you to share that. You can email me back. You can feel free to join the Women of Purpose group on Facebook and comment there. And just really start this process of reflection, right? And looking at everything. And so that's it from me for this introduction and welcome video to this series. I'm so excited to really help you and even me just be catalyzed into our purpose. It's the purpose that we were created for, that we were designed for, and that we need to live out and to thrive in, right? And so just be looking out for the next part. I'm not going to say what it is because you're going to be surprised. And I'll just let you know when it's ready. And be sure to subscribe to my newsletter if you haven't yet, the Purpose Catalytic newsletter. Just let me know if you want to know the link, and as well as be looking at the blog for any blog posts. But thank you so much, and have a great, great day. And I wish you many blessings on your purpose-filled journey.